How did you go about casting this? I've got to say, this was one of the best casting jobs I've ever seen. Where did you find these guys, aside from obviously Ice Cube's son? Where did you find these guys, and how long did it take to find them?
We scoured the planet Earth. We did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Cindy Toland, our casting director, Vicki Thomas, really did a great job at looking every different city around this country, even going to the UK to look for NWA. It took us 2 years to find these guys. And although we hired Ice Cube's son, he had to work the hardest to get the role.
Isn't that always the way?
It is. The coach's son has to play the hardest.
Yes.
I think Cube says that. And it's true. You know, we can't just give you this role because you have to carry an entire movie. So Jason did a great job. Shay does an amazing job. So does Corey. These guys stepped up, and they are NWA. And that was the hardest part of making the movie, is finding the guys.
Well, how do you take this iconic piece of history and put it into these 2 hours? What was the process for you as a filmmaker?
That was the other hardest part.
Yeah.
with all of all the choices, you know, it's just it was an embarrassment of riches when it comes to storytelling, to choose all of these moments, all these stories, all the controversy and the drama. But you know, we did. I think we did a good job, but it was hard to kind of narrow it down.
I think
they call it director's cut.
Yeah, right? I know that this is one of those rare movies where you're sitting through it and I was like, wait, that's it? I want more.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That worked.
Well, I think a big part of that is the music sequence, is the concerts. That Detroit is unbelievable. How did you put that together, and how long did it take to make that what it is?
Yeah, it took a while to make that work, and it was one of the biggest sequences in the movie. It was so hard to plan and prep and coordinate, and you know, because it's still a period piece. You know, so you have to work with not only your cast, but your extras, and they have to dress right, and the hairstyles and all this type of stuff, and just the controversy. And we had real cops. It was real on-duty LAPD officers playing Detroit cops. So, you know, when they're doing the song, first of all, they did, you know, I actually have to give a shout out to them because they were good sports. Because they're performing this song, you know, fuck the police, and they're there, and they're still active officers, and they were good sports about, you know, because they know it's history, and they just kind of stepped up, and they were great about it.
Finding that right music and finding the right tone, it seems like an impossible project. It just seems impossible, but there's a real sense of realism here, but there's also a lot of humor.
Yes.
Finding that balance, how did you do that?
There's always going to be humor in my movies. It's just, I can't escape it. With drama comes humor, and I think it really accentuates and sets up and frames the drama when something's funny. And that's just how we grew up. We grew up in extreme times with extreme moments. Either something's really, really funny or really serious. You know, you don't get a lot of in between, and that's, you know, where this movie lives. You laugh, you cry, you dance, you have a good time, but that's what this movie is, and I think, you know, we delivered it.